because happy wife, happy life.
Yeah.
I feel some tension a brewing.
Yeah. That's our second episode. We just fight.
Just fight. We're like, well, Mandy, hello. Hi,
Yeah.
Mandy's our therapist,
Let's
and
call
she
our
will be
therapist.
joining us for the third episode because clearly it's been a while since we've been to see her.
I love you.
I love you.
Hey, don't say it like that. That doesn't sound like you do.
I do. I love you.
What
Okay,
else?
so we should touch back on things that we talked about last week because we just gave little glimpses into our life. And that was, we talked a lot about the circus life that you had growing up and what that was like for you.
Yeah.
I don't know where we left off. I feel like we left off kind of with, we got into how we met
Right.
and then what? And that was it. I think we were at time. We were leaving him on a little cliffy.
How did we meet? We met at Absinthe.
How did we meet?
Yeah.
Yes, we met at Absinthe.
At Caesar's Palace.
Yeah, that was, 13 years ago,
Yeah.
which is crazy to think, 13 years? That's a long time. That's a really long time. It feels like yesterday and also a lifetime ago,
Yeah. Accurate.
which
But-
is crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. It does feel a little bit. Sometimes it feels like yesterday. And since I don't do circus stuff anymore, sometimes I'm reminded that, the older you get, it's been a while since I've done that stuff and it hurt. Like today I was in the pool and I was like, oh, my back does hurt. I guess I am getting old. All that stuff I did all my life.
Okay, so I have a question about that. At what point do circus performers hang it up? Hang it up.
It depends what you do. I mean, some people do it the famous Carl Walenda guy died doing it at 70, I think he was 75. He fell off the high wire.
So is that the hope that, I'm going to die doing this?
Well, most people think that was his plan. That's how he would have wanted to go out. But I don't know. I think that, I don't know. I feel like with acrobats, we kind of stopped doing that because when I was growing up, there were people that were only in their 50s that could hardly walk.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, I don't want that to be me.
Because of all the stress on their body.
Oh, yeah. Nonstop
But then
stress.
on the opposite side of that, it's okay, well, if you stay active in that, you probably could be in better shape than most people that are, 65, 70 years old.
It depends what you do, though, because what I did was teeterboard, which is like a seesaw. One person jumps on one side, the other person flips off into the air.
Mm-hmm.
And I was doing that since I was a child. And me and my friends joke about it now. I'm in horrible pain now. My knees are really bad because you get a lot of impact. Because
Yeah.
when that board hits you, it's all impact on your young, developing body.
Right.
And these, sold out audiences are cheering for this little kid that's doing amazing things, but really, it's a bit abusive. And you're going through
And this is where child labor laws kicked in.
yeah. But I mean, yeah, it depends what you do. Jugglers can juggle for a very long time. I have
Right.
a friend that's still juggling and he's in his 70s.
And I can't imagine that, okay, for example, Annie, she looks great. She can still do a split at, how old is she?
Annie Kahayavi,
I don't know their last, Getty's mom.
Getty's mom, yeah. I thought you meant Annie Potts. I was like,
No.
no, I don't think she could do a split.
No, not Annie Potts. That's so funny, though. Which is awesome. I haven't done a split since I was probably in high school, and, it's gone.
Gone?
Yeah, I feel like if I were to put some effort into it for, a couple months, I could probably get it back. But, if I were to drop down right now, I'd probably not walk for the next few days.
Well, you're pretty inflexible in bed the other night, though. So
Okay. This is not that podcast.
Mm-hmm.
No.
this podcast is whatever it wants to be.
Okay.
No kids don't listen to this, but to podcasts, we can say,
Wow. Rookie of the year.
my bad.
This is the rookie of the year moment.
That was my mom saying, hey, you can't talk about that.
Okay, so as far as children goes, children's child's?
Rookie of the year.
No. What am I trying to say?
As far as children go.
Yeah, it's not plural. As far as children go, nowadays, do you feel like a lot of circus families are doing the same thing that you guys were, where it's their kid gets to a certain age and they're immediately putting them into, you got to work.
Well, in the circus, it's usually they don't have to put them in because the kids are growing up watching them do it. And then you're like, that's what I'm going to do.
Right, it's just quote unquote normal.
Yeah, absolutely. I was literally in a little one of those, what are they called? Corrals. What are those things you put the
I
kids
think a
in?
corral is for horses.
Yeah, no, what are they called? The little,
A stroller.
no, the little cages.
Oh my, this is taking a turn for the worse. You are not making circus people look any better.
The cages that my family put me in, they would give me treats. No, what are those things called?
It's
You
probably a lot
unfold
more
them.
accurate than we
They're like, they
realize.
take naps in them.
Like a playpen.
Playpen, thank you. They would put me in a playpen literally outside while my older brothers were flying through the air, and I would sit there and watch them. I might have talked about this in the last podcast. That's going to be tricky about this podcast. I don't want to talk about things over and over again. How are we going to know?
Well, it gives the people who are new a little bit of a backstory as well. We can't just assume that the people who are watching this podcast watched the last episode.
Let's hope they do.
Yes, let's hope, but we cannot assume that.
But anyway, my point is, in the circus, most kids do it because, it's fun. It's performing. I mean, it is a lot of work. It is a lot of work. Some friends were over the other night, and we were talking about it, and we were talking about, like, people don't know how much work that we did. Like, and actually, that's a funny. I was telling them a story about when we first met. We at Absinthe, I used to warm up in the back on my little practice tightrope, and I would do the chair trick over and over because you kind of that's what you do. You get it built into your like a second nature. And I remember you said to me, you would come out and you'd sit with me and you would chat with me while I would practice making your moves. Yeah.
Been planning it for years.
And you would say, I want to do that. And I remember, like, do what? And you'd say, I want to do that trick. And I was like, you mean like train for a few years? And you were just like, the concept, you were like, no, just show me how to do it. And I was like, well, you can't just do it. Like, and you were determined. You were like, no, I can do it. You can do it. I can do it. And I remember I was like, all right, well, here, hold this. And I handed you the pole, and you were like, and you like went down to the floor.
Yeah, because I think that your
like,
pole was too heavy for me.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's like that takes years even to control that pole to a place where it's
But I would need a lighter pole.
Doesn't matter. Any pole, if you curl
think it
any
matters.
pole. Okay, so this is the thing that we were having where you were just like, no, I can do it because you can do it. And that's what the conversation I was having with my friends is how much work. Like, you think about like professional baseball players or football players, Olympics, the way that they train, people don't really realize it. And circus people, like the way we would train, and we wouldn't train in, air-conditioned gyms and stuff. We would train in our backyard in Florida in the horrible humid heat, and we would practice all day long from like waking up to it was getting too dark and there was too many mosquitoes outside, and mom would make dinner and we would, and rinse and repeat. We would do that nonstop because you want to be that good because you don't want to die, and if you're training your kids,
Right.
like you're overtraining it, and it's hardcore. And me and my friends were talking about that. Like, we worked really hard, and we were at the top of our game, which is cool. Like, it was worth it, and we survived. We didn't, but it's a lot of work. So I think that when you're growing up doing it, though, it's not like going to a job. It's like you're just kind of evolving into that thing. And so I think kids tend to just take over their family business kind of thing.
So that will lead me to my next question, which is like, are you ever sad that your son is not continuing your legacy?
No.
And I feel like it's that with a few of your circus friends. Like I feel like I can maybe count on one hand the friends of yours whose kids can also do what they did.
Yeah.
Like, it's very small amount.
Well, it's because the circus is going away.
But like, aren't you kind of a little sad that like Gavin can't juggle?
He can walk on the tightrope, like he really well. Like he can do it. I'm not gonna pour that work into him because there's nowhere for him to go with
I'm not saying
it.
to pour it. I'm just saying, like, does it ever make you sad that like
Not
the
at all.
legacy has ended with you? Like,
No.
the end.
No, because again, what makes me sad is that the circus is going away.
Yeah.
That there's people that have trained and are like, what do we do now? That's more sad to me. Like, no, I hope he'll be a very successful coder or animator, and he'll, have his own life, whatever it makes him happy. He's not going to be into it or that excited about it anyway because we don't do it. The reason that other kids were, that into it is because they were watching their family do it, and we just don't do it anymore.
I don't know. I'm just so nostalgic that I'm like, I would want that legacy to live on, even if it was like a dying legacy. Like, I would want it to be like, no, we have to keep this go. Like, I feel like I'm just such a like
Well, would you be sad
nostalgic.
if you had a daughter and she was like, I'm not interested in dancing?
Yeah, I would. I would
I don't
be.
think you would. I think you'd be
I
like,
would be really sad.
you'd be happy with whatever she wanted to
No,
do.
of course I'd be happy with whatever she wanted to do, but I would also be very sad.
I think that's the key too, as far as kids go, and parents that force their kids into their family business. Like there's so much of that is feels like wrong. Like support what their passion is, you know. Like
Well, yeah, and I'm 100% about that too, but I would still be sad. But I don't feel like dance is not my it's not like a family history, a family line. Like it's not the same. Like I enjoy dancing, so of course I'd be sad if my daughter didn't also want to dance, but like
yeah,
this is literally your whole family and generations before that have done it, and now it's just coming to a screeching halt.
yeah.
And like it makes me sad that I'm like for you, because I think I'm such like a nostalgic person of like we got to keep that going, because we got to keep it we got to like, which is why I was so like pushy to even have my son have my last name, because like if not it would have ended with us, and I'm like, nope, immediately no, we're keeping this name going. He's going to pass it on to his kids and then his wife, and like all the like we're keeping the Perino name going.
I think everybody's different, you know. I think I'm not that way. I think is the thing is that you know, we were inducted into the Circus Hall of Fame, and that was amazing.
Which is so cool.
It is so cool, but that was like,
Wait, what does that mean exactly for people who don't know? Because I only know because I saw it. But like for people who don't know, like what is the Circus Hall of Fame?
it's sort of like the stars in Hollywood, the Walk of Fame. It's sort of
Where
that
is it
like,
at?
in Sarasota, Florida. There's right by the beach. There's this circle like where all the shops are, and all the way around it, there's wagon wheels that are instead of stars, they're wagon wheels.
That's cool.
It's very cool. And you know, people from the 1930s, 40s, 50s, like circus stars are, and not everybody, you know, like it's people that left their print, you know. And we were inducted 3 years ago, and that felt like my mom just turned, I think, 84. She worked so hard. Her family, she used to make our costumes for our act. She used to feed us. She used to train. She did everything.
That's so cute.
And she got like this, you know, very worthy notification, a thing that like a plaque that has our whole family and they're all our names.
Yeah, that's really cool.
And Gavin was there, you know, and like it was cool for him to see that, but that's just, it's going away. You know, there's still a few circuses out there, but like when Ringling closed down, when they closed their doors, I remember being sad. I remember people really sad and like, what, you know, I'm not like that. I'm like, oh, that's sad. That's a thing. Next, no time. Got to move. Got to, you know, evolve. The next thing. What are we doing? You know, like I don't dwell on things like that.
Right, but you could take a beat.
I do take a beat. That's what I'm saying. Is I think it's very special. I think it's, you know, yeah. Of course, I think it's sad that the circus is going away, and
Yeah.
but it is what it is. You know, I'm not.
Right.
I'm a realist. I'm not going to be able to stop that from happening.
Right, of course.
So
No, I just wanted to know your perspective on like how you felt about like it just. I mean, even your brothers and sisters' kids don't do it,
right.
so
Yeah.
it's just like you're.
Yeah, they went to college and they're, you know, they're doing real world things, and they're not artists, and they're not artists, you know, like I don't think
Yeah,
any
it's
of
just
them
so
are.
crazy to
They
me.
all,
Like,
they went to
if
dance.
if my parents were in the circus, I'd be like, we are again. It's probably just me.
It is
It's-
because you're not from the circus, and
No, I just
it's
mean
a, it's a-
anything. Like
it's-
if my parents if I had a generational thing of something really cool that my whole entire family for again generations on both sides did, I would want to. Maybe it's just because I'm so like sentimental and like I love the nostalgia of what the generational thing is that like. I think that maybe I'm just too sensitive.
Well, yeah, but it's romantic. You've seen it from the outside, and you're that allure, right? Like that's a different
but again,
thing.
I'm not just talking about the circus. I'm talking about anything that would be like if my entire family did a certain thing, not just circus.
Mm-hmm.
Like if my whole family, I don't even know an example, but like did something and it was like for generations, I would want it to continue.
Yeah, but if the industry was there for it to continue in,
Yeah.
I mean, sure. Like Gavin was learning to walk the wire, and I actually was like, I don't want him doing this. I don't want him.
That's crazy.
My mom hated when I started walking the high wire because that's not what we did. But I remember thinking that with Gavin, I was like, I don't want to worry about him falling. You know, I don't
Yeah.
want to worry. I don't. It's a weird. And we almost fell. We've almost died a few times, like literally. We almost fell one time, and I'll never forget. It was like opening night at the circus down in Florida that we were doing, and there was a high wire walker that was in a wheelchair down below watching us, and we were doing this new act that we had just started. It was me and my ex-wife and her brother. It was the three of us, and it was like the debut of this high wire act. And the last trick we did, me and him were on bicycles on the wire, and we were attached with a pole, and then she would come on the pole that we were holding, and then she would sit in a chair, and we would ride out to the middle and then stop in the middle, and then she would slowly stand in the chair and then put her pole above her head, and then she would slowly come down, and then we would that was our big finale trick. And the way the bicycles work on a high wire is there's no rubber on the wheels.
Right.
It's just the rim. Otherwise there's no way to do that. But you still have to balance. It's not like there's no magnets, and
Right.
it's not a magic trick. So I would go on
It's not?
I would go out. You'd be surprised.
What?
You'd be surprised. We would sign autographs after, and people would think that there was magnets in our shoes and stuff. Like you'd be surprised. The questions and things that the people
Yeah,
thought.
that's crazy. Okay.
Yeah.
Go on.
So I would get on the bicycle and I would ride out. Then
You were in the front or in the back?
I was in the front.
Okay.
Then he would put the pole hook on my shoulders, and then he would say go, and I would roll out a little further. Then he would put it on himself. Now he made a tightrope between us. I'm
Right.
facing the other way.
It's more of a pole, though.
It's a pole, but it's the same size as the high wire.
Okay.
So I'm facing that way. She gets on. I feel her weight on me. She gets onto the middle. He puts the chair there. Then he looks down to make sure that his rims are on the tightrope. Remember, we're 40 feet in the air.
Right.
No net.
Okay.
Cement.
Cement.
He looks down on his front wheel. He sees that his wheel is
His
on the
rim job.
wire. He then looks at his back wheel to make sure, because usually if there's more people on, they'll tell him that his back wheel is on the wire.
Like you're good.
He looks back, and when he does that, he takes his front wheel off the wire,
Oh my gosh.
and he doesn't know that. So he's like, "Okay, I'm good." So now he's like,
And doesn't check again.
"No, because you don't. I mean, why would you? You saw it."
Why would
He
you?
picks up the pole, and now he says, "Okay, everybody, ready? Easy out, go." And we start pedaling slowly, and he rides. So this is the platform. He rides his bicycle off the front of the platform because it's not on the wire. So we're going out, and all of a sudden I get this hard jerk, and it's pulling me back because this thing that's on your shoulders is a hook. So when it pulls back, it pulls me back. And now I'm about to fall off the back of this bicycle.
Oh my gosh, that's so scary.
And I'm holding my 50-pound pole straight out in front of me like this. And it's like the only thing keeping me on. And I'm like struggling. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to fall. What am I going to do? I have to turn and
And you're
catch this
falling
wire.
backwards.
Falling backwards. And if I were to fall backwards, she probably would have fell on top of me and we would have just fell to the ground. So I'm holding, and he caught his bicycle, like pinched it with his legs, but it was like half off the thing. And he held onto the platform. Then he said, and I didn't know what was going on. I
you can't see.
no idea. So
That's
he
so
says,
scary.
he was like, Tony, back up. And at this point, I'm like about to drop my pole because it's like taking everything in me, like that superhuman strength that they say that you get, that, and
Your
that's
adrenaline.
was going on for sure. No one would be able to hold a pole like that. And I pedaled backwards a little bit just so that he could get his bicycle back on the wire. And at this point, I'm sweating. I'm like, and the audience, you could hear a pin drop because they were like, these motherfuckers are coming down.
Yeah, we're about to witness
And
some-
remember, the guy in the wheelchair was down there. He fell off the highway. He was paralyzed for life. And
Is this a family member?
no, he's a friend.
Okay.
And after he was like, I thought I was having PTSD. I thought you were coming down. I was like, I could see everything I went through about to happen to you, like everything, laying on the ground, paramedics all around, going to the hospital. Like he could see all that happening in real time, which was sad because I was like,
Yeah, poor guy.
so anyway, I backed up. I pedaled back just a little bit, And then he gets everything ready. He was like, "Okay, are you ready?" And at that point, I was like, "Not really. Like, what do you mean? Am I ready?"
Can I pause for a minute? Can I get a drink of water?
But she was still on there, and
Does she have any idea what's happening?
She doesn't know. No, she is all of. She just gets that jolt. She's just like doing the same thing, like trying not to fall while everything's about to fall. Then he says, "Ready? Are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, I guess. Let's do it." And then we'd go out there again. The audience member, you could hear a pin drop. It was so intense.
Scary.
And we stop in the middle. We do the trick. Very quiet in the audience. She comes down. You could hear the creaking of the bicycles. You could probably hear our sweat like hitting the ground because it was like so quiet. And we get in at the end, and the people, like, I've never witnessed like a standing ovation that way. Like, people leapt to their feet and just were like, it was a raucous.
Because they thought they were going to watch
Absolutely.
3 people die.
And they were celebrating, basically. Good for you guys for
No, they were
pulling
like,
that
thank
off.
you for like not causing us therapy for the rest of our lives. Because that would have been awful.
Yeah. So that, like, now you think about your son, learning that stuff. Like, I was if it wasn't, I mean, it was somebody else, they might have fallen. They did fall later. The family was known for falling, and we almost fell a bunch of times. We did a 7-person pyramid later, and I invited one of my best friends to join us. He was actually in Blue Man Group, but he was a very talented guy, so we trained him to walk the wire. And after we did this tour in Japan, he was like, I never told you this, but when we were done with that contract, I was like,
Thank God.
Yeah. She's like, thank God it's over. I'll never do that again. But he signed the contract. He was committed. He could have, bailed, but it's scary, like, you are in control. Like, I would never go up there thinking, oh, I might fall, because you are in total control. Like, like I said, that training that we do in the backyard is real. Like, it's training you to be the best possible you can be in those moments. Because if I had not trained that way, I would have fallen.
Right.
And when I used to train, the person that would train me, I would be walking on the wire, practicing in the backyard, only 2 feet off the ground. Out of nowhere, the person that trained me would come running out and jump on my back and try to rip me off the wire. And I would, they're sweating and their job was just that, right? Like, training me for anything and to potentially save your own life.
Crazy,
yeah. But so yeah, I would never.
So it's a bit of a relief that your son's not doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, yeah.
I mean, think about anything, like, any dangerous, jobs, like those fishermen that go out, like, how their parents are always like so relieved.
Well, and it's like that with anything in life. Like, I used to think that baseball was like the safest sport that my son could play.
Yeah.
And he's been through the ringer. So It's like there's no.
And people have gotten hit in the head at the plate, died, like, yeah.
Did you ever see that movie, Simon Birch?
No.
Okay, the opening scene, I don't remember. I don't know if I know I'm not making it up. I don't remember if it's the opening scene or not, and I don't remember if it's his mother. But I do remember being pretty traumatized because I still talk about it to this day, and I used to think that, like, okay, so let me back up. Let me slow down. The opening scene is like this kid, they're at a Little League baseball game, and the kid hits a foul ball, and the mom is like walking along the fence, like outside of the field, and gets hit in the temple and fucking dies.
So he kills his mom?
Kills his mom. I don't know if it's his mom or not. That's what I meant. Like, I'm not sure if it's his mom or a mom on the team, but, like, the mom dies. And I remember, like, for years after that, even still, I'm, like, very easy to, like, even when I'm, like, offering to rub your temples, I'm like, could this potentially kill him if I push too hard? Like, if I squeeze his temples right now, could I kill him?
X.
Because that's scary. Like, if you get hit in the wrong place of your head, like, you're done.
Yeah, possibly.
Crazy.
I got hit with a paintball in the temple once, and I thought I was going to die.
Yeah, that's scary. Did it hurt? Like, was it excruciating? I mean, I feel like a paintball in general is pretty excruciating, but, like...
Oh, it was bad. And I thought, oh, my God, like, I remember the ambulance came, and I was like,
the ambulance came?
Yeah.
Shut up.
It was bad.
You were like, I've been hit with a paintball.
It was bad.
Maybe that's why you have such bad headaches now. Maybe there's, like, some...
Maybe.
Lingering thing that is happening to you. Maybe. That's crazy.
Yeah. I don't know.
But yeah, my point to that is, like, anything that your children do, like, nothing is safe. You just have to really pray and hope for the best.
Yeah, but Yeah, but putting them up on a 40-foot high wire is like leagues above, I mean, I can't even imagine what would be more dangerous than that. So the idea of, him not doing that and wanting to be a coder, yeah, I'm good with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's scary.
Okay. Yeah, that is pretty scary.
And, like, I don't know, the thing that I am, I mean, I don't mind the acrobatic stuff, the circus stuff in general, but like, it's the art, I think, that I'm more sad about, that he's not into being artistic, because I am, like.
Well, that's not
super
true, because
artistic.
he's into his little animations that he makes.
That's
Like, that
true.
is a form of art.
Yeah, he
It's just
expresses
different.
himself for sure. But as far as performing and stuff like that, it's not that I'm sad, but I would think that affects me more than the thrilling wow factor of like doing that cool stuff, or even juggling. Like juggling, you're like, you ask that, like you're sad that he can't juggle. I'm like,
I was using that as an example.
I know, but like as a juggler, for me, it's like watching a mime almost, where I'm just like,
I don't know. It's pretty cool when people can juggle to me.
yeah. But I'm saying, for me as the parent of a person who did that, like, I'm not that impressed. Like,
For the record, it is impressive if you can juggle. Losing followers by the minute.
no, I'm saying,
I'm just not that impressed.
I'm not impressed by jugglers. Like, I'm impressed if a juggler is a really good dancer and like combines things and is like, is very artistic. That is more impressive to me. I don't know. I'm impressed by talent, and I'm impressed by talent that is also worked. Like, so when someone finds their talent and then they work really hard on that, like in these days, like I feel like that's becoming a thing of the past. Like the Hawktua girl, for instance.
Yeah,
like,
let's talk about that.
I can't.
Wait, okay,
listen,
so
first of all, hold on. Let me just say,
Okay,
like,
go ahead.
bless her heart, right? Like,
Yeah.
she's good for her.
Yeah, this is great.
It's not her fault. What's happening to her, it's not her fault.
This is the best thing that could have happened to her.
Possibly.
I literally just watched this, like, a clip of a podcast episode where she talks about how she's an actual crack baby.
What?
She is a crack baby. Her
Really?
mom literally is on crack, had her while she was on crack.
Like,
She is a crack
that's
baby.
That's for real?
From her lips. She was like, "Yeah, why do you think I'm so funny?"
If that's
and I'm
the
like, "Actually,
case-
you're not really that funny."
No, but she's cute.
She's
she has that
cute.
southern thing. And I actually, when I see her, I'm like, oh,
No,
I
I'm
like
like
her.
happy that this is happening for her because this is the best thing that could have happened
Yeah.
for her. This is changing her life.
Yeah,
But like, it's so crazy that all it takes is like
exactly.
right time, right place,
Exactly.
right video,
And
doing nothing.
nothing. Forming some noises out of your mouth.
Yeah.
And
Which a lot of people are not impressed by the way.
what?
Like people make videos like what's it called when you stitch? Oh, a stitch when she's like, they're like Hawktua, they're like, nah bitch, and they like pull their hair back and show them what you would really do. Like people are not
Like
impressed.
blowjob wise?
Yes.
They're
People
not
are
in-
not impressed by
With her, the Hawktua thing?
like they're like, oh, you're just fucking spitting on it. Like, let me show you.
Wow, I didn't know that. I haven't seen that.
I've
What are you
seen-
watching? What are you searching?
I'm not searching anything. It
I'm gonna
comes up
check
on my
your search.
feed.
Yeah. I
You
wonder-
can search my.
See what your IG algorithm looks
It
like.
literally is just on my explore page. Once I hit a reel on like my explore page, it continues to like I'll just scroll reels to get like inspiration or all the things or like try to keep up. And a lot of it has been her.
Yeah. But also that goes back to like these days, right? Like I keep seeing, I was watching the Jake Paul fight and she's there ringside. And then people are coming up to her, Jake Paul, after the fight, like, oh, I'm so excited to meet you. And I'm like,
Okay, so
again,
wait, hold
God
on.
bless her heart.
Yeah, no,
but-
this is great for her. I'm happy for her. This is great.
And but why though? Like, like that is really what we've become. It's like what is it?
But like
there's-
you don't think let's fall down a conspiracy trail real quick. So like you don't think it was a little bit of a plant?
Hawktua girl?
Yeah, like okay, this is like somebody bigger.
No.
You don't think somebody bigger had this like, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to make this girl go super viral. It's a distraction from
You're like Illuminati kind of thing? you're
Not really
talking?
maybe Illuminati, maybe
No.
I don't know. It just seems really crazy to
I don't
me
think
that
so.
like
I hear what you're saying. Go ahead, finish. Sorry to interrupt
it's
you.
okay, go on.
I like it's like the lemonade girl. Like,
But she was like here for a second and then gone.
yeah, but no, but she has like, I don't know, crazy millions of followers
Yeah,
that
but she
like,
has millions of followers. She's not going and touring
I bet you she
and
is.
showing up at country music
I just saw a video of her,
festivals
this
and
little girl
going,
crying.
Hawk Tua.
No, I saw this girl crying, meeting the lemonade girl, the Chick-fil-A girl, and she was like signing autographs.
That's crazy.
And they're
But
like
she's,
going on these
again, though, like,
tours.
the Lemonade Girl's going on a tour.
Yeah,
She's showing up
signing
to.
autographs.
Oh, okay. I haven't seen that.
I mean, but that's what I'm saying is I don't think it's a conspiracy theory, bigger picture, and what did you say? Distraction. I think it's I think because of social media, it's now not a bunch of producers who decide what's good and what's bad and what's famous, or Siskel and Ebert, critics. Now the whole world gets to decide who they like, who they think is, So now the whole world decided, right, that Hawk Tuah thing was so funny, and then it catches wind and goes viral. But
But what else is there? Like, what is the depth of her? And I'm not talking down about her. I'm happy that this is happening for her because I think this is the best thing that could possibly ever happen for her.
Sure.
But, like, what is the depth of that? Like, is she actually this really funny girl and now she's going to be a comedian because she got, like, her 5 minutes of fame and this
Yeah.
is going to have her breakthrough? Or does it end there?
I don't know. It depends on her. If she has some talent, now if she can sing or something, of course, some
I think
producer
she
is going to
thinks
be
she's
like,
funny is what.
she's cute. Like I said, she has that southern draw, and like every time I see her on TMZ or something, she's like, I don't know what's going on, y'all. Like she doesn't seem like she's buying into it, but it's other people that are like putting her on this pedestal, and I'm like, I don't understand.
No, I think she's buying into it. I think she hired the right people and now she's like really
But why wouldn't she, right?
right.
But I'm just saying that I don't think she is like. I think she's kind of like, what's going on?
It's just a whirlwind of things for her. I
Yeah.
think she's, anyways, enough about her.
But I guess my point was these days, you don't have to be Michael Jackson and have all this talent and trained, you know what I mean, to be catapulted. Like, I mean, and it's sad. And as far as artistic,
right, but this Hawk Tuah girl is not considered talent.
Right, that's my point.
So, but there is still talent out there.
Yes, but there's so much talent out there that's not going anywhere. And this Hawk Tuah girl is going everywhere. And that's sad to me because it's
Yeah,
like
that
you
is sad.
don't need, it doesn't matter. I mean, it's always been like that. It's always been in the talent agencies, like who's going to make it, like, Brad Pitt got through or like, there's millions of Brad Pitts. You know what I mean? Like it's always been like that. But there's
not
always
millions of
been
Brad
like
Pitts.
talent that's like, trained and like, like a lot of, I have so many friends in Chicago who are brilliant actors and they have a hard time paying the rent. And they're a lot better actors than like some of the celebrities that are actors or even like, like
Who you know and who you blow.
Class.
That's what it is. Like realistically, it's who you know and who you blow. I'm just saying.
How'd you get to be famous?
How did I get to be famous?
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm amazing. I'm not famous.
How did you get to be famous? Like, we talk about that. Where did your fame come from? Because you were famous. You had some. When I met you, you were very famous.
So when I met you, did
How
you
did
think
you-
I was a celebrity?
You were a celebrity when I met you.
Thank
Were you
you.
not? You were. You were on a TV show. You came and auditioned
Thank
on our
you.
show.
Yeah, I actually, it's kind of like the same. Like, I don't really even know what happened. Like, I turned 18. I was with like a bunch of modeling agencies because that's what I wanted to do, right? Like, I wanted to model, I wanted to act, I wanted to be a star, baby.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's what I wanted. And
You wanted to be Britney Spears.
no, I didn't want to sing.
Oh, I thought you did.
No. But I was with all these modeling agencies and I knew I was going to catch like my big break eventually. I just didn't know how or when, but like it just was in me. And then I like turned 18 and I swear like days after I get a call from one of the modeling agencies I was with and she's like, "Hey, so we're going to fly you out to be on an episode of The Girls Next Door and you're going to test to be a playmate." And I'm like, "Wait, what? Like what? Why?" First of all, I was like the most modest.
You were 18?
I just turned 18 days after my 18th birthday. I hadn't even graduated high school yet. so shy, so modest,
Christian family.
Christian girl that was like, wouldn't even shimmy in a dance class because I was like, they used to call me Bashful Bambi because I literally would like, I'd be too afraid to shimmy because I was just like
Wow.
uncomfortable. Not that I thought it was wrong. I was just like, I loved watching other people do it and I wanted to do it, but I just like couldn't bring myself to do it. So very shy, very modest. And then I'm like, what Playboy? Like I can't do that. Like I can't do that. So of course, like I call my mom and my dad. Actually, I call them. I hollered for them down the hall because I was still living in their house. And I'm like,
You weren't married?
no, I
Or-
hadn't even graduated high school.
Oh. How old are you in Roman? 20?
I had just turned 20
Oh.
2 weeks before.
Were you single
I was with Roman's dad.
when this was happening?
Yes.
So you had a serious boyfriend.
Yes. But we weren't real. I mean, serious. It was still kind of new at that point. Like, still fun. It wasn't toxic yet. So, yeah, it was, we were in a serious relationship, but it was like good and healthy, quote unquote. But yeah, so like told my mom and dad, and I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Like, of course, my mom's like, nope, no. Like, because, right? Like, what do you do with your 18-year-old daughter? Like, you're 18. You're an adult now. I can't make your decisions. And my dad was like, well, you're 18 and this is going to open a lot of doors for you. And I'm like, well, shit. That was not the response that I was expecting. I was expecting them to be like, immediately, no, you're not doing that. And then it was going to be an easy answer for me, right? Like, no, I can't. And then boom, done. But when my dad was like, this is going to open a lot of doors for you, I was like, well. And so I did. I was like, fuck it. What do I have to lose? Like, I'm 18. Now I've graduated. By the time I went out there, I had graduated. And they flew me out to LA to test to be a playmate on one of the episodes of Girls Next Door. And it was me and 2 other girls that were there.
From Vegas or?
No, they're from different, I don't remember where they were from. One girl named Valerie and the other girl, I think her name was, Kayla Collins was also one of them, but she came a little bit later, I think.
She became a playmate, right?
Yeah, she's a playmate. And so is Valerie. And I think her name was Melissa, or maybe it was Melanie. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry for forgetting her name. It was either Melanie or Melissa. She was a cyber girl. And I was pretty much the only one that didn't become a playmate out of the group.
Why do you think that is?
Hef's original note to me was like, I needed to get a boob job.
Hugh Hefner, by the way, anyone listening.
Yes.
For, what's her name?
Tracy.
Tracy. She's talking about Hugh Hefner. The Hugh Hefner. Had notes for her.
Yeah, so he had notes for me, and the note was pretty much like, get a boob job, and then come back and see me.
Jesus.
Like,
that was his
without
notes?
saying it. Like, he didn't tell me that directly, but like through the grapevine, it was like, yeah, we just like would like Angel to be a little bit more enhanced and like all the things. And so meanwhile, on this episode of Girls Next Door, I'm literally like have Diet Coke cans in the closet, like trying to make my nipples hard to like be
Diet Coke. Shout out Diet Coke.
Shout out to Diet Coke. I still love you to this day. Yeah, so went out there, did that. I ended up having like the best night of my life, probably. I met Holly. We hit it off immediately. Like, you know, when you just feel like you were meant to be friends. Like, it wasn't even
That's how
hard.
I felt about you when I met you.
That's nice. Mm-hmm. You did?
Mm-hmm. Please continue. That's for another episode.
That was sweet. Yeah, I just felt like it was so easy. It was easy to talk to her. It was easy to just like be myself around her. I didn't feel like I had to put on was I nervous? Yeah, of course I was like shitting bricks because like I literally tuned in to watch this show every week with my mom. And now I'm like
Oh, you had watched the show before?
Yeah. Me and my mom loved this show. We loved The Girls Next Door.
Yeah.
And like now I'm like literally sitting here with them. So of course I'm like nervous, but like it just felt comfortable. And like I didn't have to try too hard and I could be myself. And like Holly and I hit it off right away. And then anyways, I didn't end up getting the playmate spot. And they were like, hey, like come back, get your boobs done, come back and like try again. Like we're not saying no. We just want you to maybe like fix yourself a little bit. Be a little better. But I opted to not do that. I was kind of like, maybe it wasn't meant to be type thing. And then
But you stayed though, right?
So then I get a call from my agent saying like, hey, Holly loves you and like wants you to just pretty much move out there and hang out with them and be an extra on the next season of Girls Next Door. And you can just live at the mansion with them and blah, 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 XYZ. And I'm like, okay, holy shit.
Blah, 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 though, not meaning like any kind of playmate stuff. Just you were just going to be having fun in the background.
Literally, like any trip that they go on, you're going to be a friend that tags along. If they're having a party in the backyard and they need girls as extras, you're going to be in the backyard hanging out in the grotto, like for the show.
Mm-hmm.
So like we ended up traveling to New York to find the 50th anniversary playmate, and like I traveled with them. Like I got to like literally just hang out with them, whatever they did, and like actually had a couple like personal things with them. Like Holly and I went and did our own little thing because she was managing like the editorial stuff. And then Bridget and I went and took a trapeze class together.
Wow.
Yeah, in LA, which I
on the
honestly,
pier? Santa Monica?
No, I feel like it was somewhere else. I feel like it was somewhere else. That memory is so vague to me, which is really weird because I like there's parts of it that are very vivid, and there's parts of it that I'm like, did that happen or did I make that up in my head? Because I don't think that part ever aired. And that was another thing is now I'm with Roman's dad. I'm still with Roman's dad.
And he's where?
In Vegas.
And while you're at the Playmore Mansion?
Yeah.
Yikes.
And like I swore to him, like, which is true. Like I never did anything, but I didn't even tell him about the episode that I went and tested. And like I told him there was nothing. Because in my mind I was like, oh, this is probably going to get cut. Like I didn't make it. Like, you know, I didn't know what I was getting into. I didn't know what production life was like. Like I get in this huge scene and then all of a sudden none of that is even aired. And I would be paranoid about it the whole time. So I just didn't think that I was really going to be in it much because I didn't get chosen and like it just wasn't really, I don't know. And anyways, he ended up finding out through the grapevine, like my episode aired, and he found out like through the we didn't watch it together. At this point we were in Texas, like living together at his mom's house, and he had found out that like I was naked on TV.
You were?
Yeah.
When? What episode? I want to watch.
Season 4. The episode is called Go West, Young Girl. And you can see me fully naked.
Wow.
Testing to be a playmate.
No, I didn't know that.
I mean, they blur it on E, but like if you have the DVD, you can fully
Hey, don't tell
see
people
me.
how to see you naked.
I mean, you have to buy the DVD. Actually, yes, go buy the DVD.
I didn't know. I always thought it was the one where you got your boob job. Is that one?
No, that was Holly's World.
Oh, right. So how did he react to that?
That was where everything spiraled.
Yikes.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's where it started. So yeah.
It sounds kind of like cliche every boyfriend's nightmare, right? Like,
but is it a nightmare? Like I feel like people who are confident, and there is something, regardless of everything that's come out about Playboy recently, like there is something really awesome and epic about being a playmate, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it is such a legendary, iconic thing that like, oh, like fucking Marilyn Monroe, are you kidding?
Yeah.
All these like,
that's not what I mean though. Like, yeah, the legacy is amazing. It is a very cool, everything about it, like, is very cool. But I'm saying, like, every boy that's in a relationship, their nightmare is to go, for them to go away and be naked on TV. Like, that's a pretty rough one to, yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I could see that. I could see it being hard, and if you're very insecure, but like also on the opposite end of things, like Playboy was still really a big name back then, and like to be a part of such a cool thing, anybody who is confident enough and like can see the bigger picture would, like my dad, be like, this is going to open a lot of doors for you.
Sure, yeah.
This is an opportunity of a lifetime that not a lot of people get. Like, yeah. I'm sure that what happened is my agent ended up submitting my photos to Playboy just like on a whim, like, hey, let's submit her for this and see what happens. And they were like, yeah, we choose you. So like I was chosen out of how many girls were like, I want to be on that episode where they're testing to be a playmate. Mm-hmm. Probably thousands. But like I was chosen. And I feel like that's pretty fucking cool.
Oh, it is cool for sure. I'm just saying, like I said, like in a traditional
Yeah, and the
relationship.
way that he found out about it is like I didn't tell him that I was going to test to be a playmate. I lied. And I didn't tell him because I was scared of how he was going to react because I was
Yeah.
18.
Here, this is the reason that you were scared, is what I'm saying. Because most, I would say 99% of dudes, young dudes, would not think of it as you were thinking of it now. Like, oh, it's an amazing legacy. It's, oh
Yeah.
my God, my
Boys
friends
is
are
what
going
it
to
is.
see her naked and I don't want,
Yeah.
that.
And that's how he
Yeah.
found out. Is like his friends were texting him like, "Hey, I just saw Angel on." So
Yikes.
there it is. But it was blurred. They didn't really actually see.
Oh, I can still imagine. Like, that would be hard. That'd be rough. Yeah, that makes it harder that you lied about it for sure.
Yeah.
Like, but e- the, I guess the hard part is if you didn't lie about it, you probably would have got guilted into not doing it.
Exactly. Like
Yeah.
I got guilted into not going to college and not doing all these things because
Yeah.
I wanted to make him happy. But like this was the path I was meant to be on.
Yeah.
So that's just the way the cookie crumbled.
Yeah, and it's true. The confidence thing is very true. Like I remember seeing you in Peep Show, with your boobs out, and it was when we were dating, and I remember feeling proud. I remember feeling proud of you, and then I remember feeling proud of me, being like, oh, she's
Yeah, I'm with
amazing.
her.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you were doing your thing. You were happy on stage, and you were just like, you could, I don't know. But it's tricky. It is a tricky thing. And we've had conversations about this a lot. I actually think you got the best of both worlds, really. Like, I know we talked about, like, because you were talking about maybe doing Playboy at some point, and I was like, because of the kids and that, and like having Roman to, go through high school and deal with that, it's hard. So I think you got that cool legacy of, being able to live at the mansion, being able to be around, a lot of Hugh Hefner and all these icons.
If I were to go back in time, I think that I would still do it. I would want to be a playmate. But I would have wanted to do it like right after that, like right after I tested, and then like maybe if I did get my boobs done and come back and do it then.
But you didn't get your boob job then
No.
for that show
No.
and to test.
No.
You got it later.
Holly bought me my boobs for my 21st birthday.
Oh, right. Right.
So
And that was on Holly's World.
Yes.
That happened.
Yes.
Right.
So I feel like if I could go back in time, I would do it. Like I would be a playmate because it is such a cool thing. And yeah, there's phases where your kid is going to be like, oh, I hate this. But then like now I think that Roman's past that hump. I think that he could go back and be like, no, it's really cool.
He's not yet. We've had conversations about it.
Well, maybe he's not yet, but I think
Yeah.
that eventually he will be there where he's like, oh yeah, like look at Pam Anderson's kids. Like she was part of like I mean, mind you, she has the tape, but like that aside, like
Yeah.
it just takes like, I'm sure there is a hump, but if like, I don't know. Anyways. So yeah, that was, and then we ended up doing this Holly spinoff. I was her personal assistant for a while. And she had her own spinoff, Holly's World.
So it was probably Holly's World where you got most of your
Yes.
fame because you were an actual character on that show.
Yes.
Yeah, and a good one. Like you stood out on that show. So I'm sure that's where most of your
you.
following came from.
When I go back and watch it, I'm like, oh,
Yeah, that's
cringe.
common for everybody.
No, like I literally yell at everything. I'm like screaming.
Yeah.
I'm like, why did I yell right then? That was not necessary.
You were a kid.
Yeah, I was a kid. That's the problem. I was a kid carrying a kid.
Yeah, and like you were just getting out of an abusive. You have so much going on.
I literally had so much going on.
So much going on.
I was going through a divorce. I had not even fixed my teeth yet that he punched out.
Oh my God! Wait, you were missing a tooth?
I wasn't missing it, but it was like a filling. Like, remember when Roman had like just a filling and
Yeah.
it was a completely different, like I hadn't even had my good tooth put in yet.
On the next episode,
Yeah.
yikes.
It's life, baby. That's showbiz.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then, I mean, like, yeah. So I guess I did have a little bit of a celebrity because of Holly's World and all the opportunity that she brought me. Like, and I'm eternally grateful for all of that. And then eventually it led to me being her personal assistant. And then Absinthe reached out and was like, hey, this Angel, what can you do?
Mm-hmm.
Then I found you.
Yeah, pretty wild. So many things. So many things. Like, life is crazy. So many things. Like, I was supposed to be doing this big show in Chicago all summer at Navy Pier that I was producing, and the the there was a huge crazy storm that came through months before we were supposed to open, and it blew the roof off of the building.
Damn.
And they were like, "We're not gonna be able to do your show," and I was freaked out. I was like, "What am I gonna do?" And we just got pregnant, and I was like,
Yikes.
everything
Now
was
extra stressful.
so stressed. And I was like, "What am I gonna do?" And I was scrambling, and I reached out to a friend who I'd saw Absinthe in New York, and I was like, let's put a high wire act in there." And they were like, "Oh no." My friend talked to the producer, and he was like, "No, it's too small. We've thought about that before." And I was like, "Yeah, but you didn't have me do it. I'll get it done."
You didn't have me.
And it's true. Like, I was like, and I was, at the time, I was a little bit bullshit too, because I was like, needed a gig. And I said, "No, we can do it." And that's why it's going to be amazing, because it's going to be over their heads. And yeah, I like literally talked my way into doing it. And up until the opening night with audiences, I was like, "I don't know." But inside I was like, "Yeah, we got this." And I was
Fake it
even
till you make it.
had to like train these two guys that weren't high wire walkers. And yeah, so that had to happen. And then, yeah, all that stuff, with getting onto that show and auditioning.
So it was just fate.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. We were both in not good relationships at the time. It was all meant to be.
I can't wait to talk more about that. And like our Absinthe time. Like
Really?
the series. Yeah.
Can't wait.
Yes.
So weird.
I'm excited to finally be like, yeah, we've told our friends our side of the story, but like we've been very private on social media, and like
Respectful.
Respectful. We never blasted anything.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm happy about that.
yeah, me too. But now I feel like is our chance to be like, this is our side.
Yeah. No, yeah, that's true. I mean, it's true.
It is true. And I don't think that you should hold back. Do you have to be an asshole? No, but like you should tell your version, and I should tell my version, and we should tell the truth.
Yeah. I mean, it's true. Look, I took a lot on the chin, and that whole turn the other cheek thing, and just was like, okay, it was a lot. It was a lot. It's going to be a couple of crazy fun episodes.
Exposing the truth.
Exposing the truth. Yeah.
People aren't ready, I feel. Our friends know, but
Not all of them. Because it's personal, it's super personal. And,
oh no,
and
I can't wait
uncomfortable.
to tell my friends. I feel like I tell my friends.
Wow.
My friends know.
Wow. Not me, not a lot. Only friends that came to me, I would tell them.
Like I don't just go like, "Hey, do you want to know something?"
Yeah. When something like that happens, it's hard because you get really insecure that people are just going to think that you're lying and that you're just trying to like
Well, we
tell
have
your
receipts,
truth.
baby. Receipts.
No, absolutely. But still, like that's just not ever what I was about. I did make mistakes, and I did, didn't do things the right way.
Nobody's innocent.
Yeah. But yeah. Sorry, we're being very vague right now because
Yeah, because they need to listen
we're
to
at an
episode
hour.
3.
Yeah.
Episode 3.
Episode 3.
The
Tune in.
juice.
We're going to start the juice on episode 3.
Yeah. I feel like that's a good way to do it. Just get it in.
Wow.
And then we can get more into like, because we're still building the stage of like our life and what we've been through and why we are in the place that we're at now.
Yeah.
And then now we can get into things about you and your son, things about me and my son, bringing our therapist in, and like where we're at now. But we're still building they still got a lot of background to learn.
Yeah, that's true. It's true. It's like we're teaching them about they're learning about the characters first.
Yeah. Character build up.
Yeah.
It's like Game of Thrones. You really just got to really push through the first season.
Or like the Bible. All these names. You're like, what do all these matter?
We
Anyway.
haven't really named names.
But yeah, that'll be fun.
But we will.
I'm not looking that much forward to it, but maybe it'll be therapeutic to
I
talk
think it
about.
will. And you know what? Worst comes to worst, you hate it, we don't air it.
Yeah, we'll just bleep it out.
You have the option.
True.
All right.
All right.
Episode
Boom,
2.
baby.
In the
Episode
books.
2. That was fun. it's all a blur. I don't even remember what we just talked about. I just like black out, and then it's an hour later.
I
Hour
think
goes
that's
by
a-
fast.
Yeah,
I
that's a
hope
good
that
way to
the
be.
I hope that our listeners feel that way, and they're not like, oh my god, these guys
They're
don't
like,
shut up.
scroll 10, scroll 10, scroll 10.
Please don't scroll 10 on our clips. That makes me very sad.
Well, it was good.
All right, cheers. Till next time.
Till next time.